Okay, the lighting on this one's gonna be really bad, guys, just because of how it's facing. And Bobby is shitting himself. He's so scared. This is what I mean. He has the nerviest character, does Bobby. Anyway, this is Bobby. He was in my last Meet the Horses video, so if you can't see him because of the terrible lighting in this stable, hi. He was in that very clearly, so you could go see him there. Bobby, his show name is Tally-Ho a Dane. Very fancy. Too fancy, eh, Bobby? And this is where it gets confusing because we do have a Bob and a Bobby. So this is Bobby, the younger of the two and the sound of the two. He is a Connemara. He is now, I think he'll be 8 this year or 9 this year. I'm not sure, one of the two. We got him when he was 4. I actually bought Bobby from a sale room. He was supposed to be a project, but I ended up keeping him for the foreseeable future. Bobby, I broke him myself. There are a few videos over on Instagram, I think, of me backing Bobby. But other than that, there's not that much. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple of videos of him in the early days of me riding him away on Facebook. Oh, not on Facebook, on YouTube. I've gone insane. It's because Evie's kicking her door. Evie, shut up! Thank you. He was a superstar to break in. He was so good. He's a very nervy character. He always has been. He has been since the day we got him at the sale room. He was shocking at the sales. We thought it was maybe just him being nervous of being at the sales. Clearly not. I brought him home. I let him out in the field and my dad was like, yeah, he's nice, Kate. I don't think you're gonna be able to catch him though. And I was like, how dare you? Of course I'll be able to catch him. I didn't see him again for 2 months. In the end, we had to like herd him into a corner and catch him there. He's always been lovely. He's one of those, he's like nervy, but like wouldn't hurt a fly sort of characters. He's the sweetest thing on earth as well. He is like a giant teddy bear. Basically, he was broken in and riding away. I think I took him to a couple of local little shows and he was really good there too. And he was so good over the years that we were actually going to use him in the riding school. So getting ready to open my riding school in the coming months beforehand, I started to let other people ride him a little bit, like staff members, friends, to try and get, well, this was with all the riding school horses and ponies or potential riding school horses and ponies, to get them used to other people being on them so that it wasn't such a shock to the system when we opened. And Bobby was the only one who did not do so good with this. He was a nightmare after a while, which was shocking to us because he'd been so good. But he did have a bad experience with one of our staff members where she'd sadly forgotten to do his girth up, so she put her foot in the stirrup. Saddle moved when she went to get on and he ran off in the arena, freaked out, and ever since he has not been great. We have tried several times to get him back into work now, but because he's so nervous, he's incredibly sharp actually. And even though he's so harmless, like on the ground and sweet, and he's never actually, other than that, had a problem under saddle, we've now got to a point with him where I'm like, I don't want anyone to ever ride him again because he's just, and that sounds ridiculous, but if you saw what he was like and if you knew him in person, you'd understand. But he's not like a normal horse like Hivy Spook, so gets a bit nervous. He doesn't just sort of skitter around for a minute or so, or like, you know, for a few strides and stuff. He goes into a full-blown blind panic and he does not care what is happening around him, he will just run. He's the kind nowadays that if you fell off and you had like a foot in the stirrup or something, he wouldn't stop running until it was literally just your foot and the rest of you was gone. So like, he's quite dangerous under saddle now, sadly, which is a real shame because I'll put some videos over. He was fantastic when it was just me working with him and it was just me doing stuff with him. He was great, but now it's just too risky to have other people on him, sadly. So I've made that call now of no one else is going to get on him, and sadly at the moment we are looking for a companion home for him or an in-hand showing home because he's so beautifully put together. He's a full pure Connemara, so he's stunningly put together, he's really nice, and he's also a great pal in the field for people. Like, he's brilliant, he's so friendly and he's so sweet. He's no problem at all to have on the yard and to do and stuff, but I've just got so many horses now that I never wanted to make this call, but I feel like I have to. And yeah, we've got so many and none of them need extra companions, if that makes sense. So I feel like I'm just keeping him for the sake of keeping him, and he could be happier with someone else that had more time to do like the in-hand showing and stuff with him. I'm never going to have time to do that as well. So he's literally just going to be in the field with us, you know, so I feel like he'd do a lot better with someone else who could give him that little bit of a job. Even if they didn't do the full-blown in-hand showing, they could just run around with him in the arena and stuff and like have fun, or maybe do some liberty with him or something like that, you know, and work with him on the ground. So he is currently for sale, which I'm really sad about. I didn't want him to ever go because I think the world of Bobby, but unfortunately it's just how things have worked out and it's how things have to be. And I think it's best for him. I think it's best for us in the long run, isn't it? Yeah, you're playing with that bit of haylage. But he is beautiful and I will make sure he finds the very best of homes. We're in no rush to sell him. I don't really want to see him go. And he's one of Nero's best friends as well, so I was tempted to just keep him so that Nero had his best friend still. But Nero does have other friends, and I just think it would be best for Bobby. So yeah, that's pretty much Bobby. So we're gonna move on to some others before this video literally takes about 4 hours. Okay, so we're down now, guys, at the new block. Not new horses block, apart from one, who you will meet in a second. We are just down at our new stable block that went up last summer. End of last summer this went up, and it is beautiful. It's eventually gonna be where the 3 mares go, but for now we have Bob, Louie, and Nova down here. So I'm with Bob at the moment, who's so antisocial at the door, it's unbelievable. So we may get some glimpses of him. If not, I'll overlay some clips. Bob, are you gonna come say hi? Bobsy, 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 come on. Oh, come on, Bobsy. Come here, come say hi. There he is. Oh, I know. Oh, I've had you all these years and you still think I'm going to kill you. Anyway, Bob I got in 2012, so we've had for 12 years now, which is mental. They're all freaking out a little bit. Louie's snorting next door as well because the camera's out and they're not too, I mean, Bob should be more than camera done over the years. I get Louie. Louie's new. You're not new. You should be cool with it. No? No. I did show some videos of me trying him actually in one of my reacting videos. I think it's like reacting to my first ride on my horses or something like that. Something along those lines if you want to go back and watch it. Bob was brilliant. He's just been an all-rounder that I sort of made more into a show jumper. When we got him, he jumped over some bigger fences like at home and stuff, but he'd never done that much competing at bigger heights. So I think at my first show with him, this was how cocky I was. My first show with Bob, I had only jumped with Dreamer before up to like 60 centimeters and got eliminated in most of them. My first show on Bob, I did a 110. Mental. But I was that really cocky, fearless child who was like, screw it, I'll win everything. I'll be at the Olympics in a few years. There. It didn't end well for me. The 110 actually, that first competition went great. So much better than it should have done. I mean, I rode like an actual sack of potatoes. I'll overlay it while I'm talking here because it doesn't look like Bob's gonna come say hi. Yeah, I literally sat there and did nothing. So Bob put about 50,000 strides in every double and stuff, but we did go clear and came second. So can't complain that much, really. We've had Bob a long time. He went lame actually just before we got Nero in 2014 because my plan with Bob, essentially when we got him, I started competing him more and more and more, and he was so keen and loved the jumping and stuff that it was far more fun than competing had been with Dreamer at the time. Dreamer was my first horse, who sadly is no longer with us, but he was never really a jumper, so he didn't like it that much. Only really, really tiny, but yeah, not a massive fan of the show jumping. So anyway, me and Bob started competing more and more. We then registered with British Show Jumping and started competing there too. Eventually, we were doing really well. We'd competed up to like 120, 125 sort of level, which was super exciting, having sort of produced him from like sort of 90 meter up to that. Unfortunately, I think it was about 2 weeks before Nero was supposed to like come home. Oh, hello, you've decided to join us. He's so scared. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm your friend. We're friends. We've known each other for years. He's like, I've never seen this bitch in my life. Oh, Bob, is that it? Is that the only appearance we're going to get? I'm just going to stand here, and then if you want to come say hi, you can. I'm so tempted to just ruin our relationship with one small movement. He's still there. he didn't run away. Basically, 2 weeks before we got Nero, I was lunging Bob in the field. This was back before we had an arena. And sadly, something spooked him and he shot off on the lunge, pulled me over, and then ended up jumping through 6 paddock fences with the lunge line trailing behind him. And he bashed his hock on one of the fences and ended up with a hock injury, which I've spoken about over the years as well, so I'm not going to go into too much detail and bore everyone. But essentially, in the end, they decided that it was his hock joint sort of being rejected by his immune system. So there was no coming back from that. They treated him to make him so that he was fine to go out in the field and that he was happy at that. But over the years, obviously arthritis and stuff has kicked in. So he is still very active out in the field and has been so much better this year. Last year we had him medicated a couple of times, but I think that was my fault really, because I was still having him go over the road from where we live. So basically we have fields at the yard side, and then we have fields over the road, and the fields over the road have like big hills and stuff, so they're more our winter fields. So last winter I was taking him over there, and I think it was just too much strain going all the way over there and then going up and down the hills all the time. I think it was just too much with the cold and the wet as well. Worst conditions for arthritis, and I think I just pushed him over the edge. Whereas this year, we haven't had to medicate him once. He's been perfectly fine, you know, just wanders around everywhere, just has a grand old time. So he's retired, and it was a real shame because obviously with when he'd gone lame, I'd planned to have him and Nero as like my team for 2015. I did end up with a cracking team, so I can't complain, but I would have loved for Bob to be on that team. So then I would have had, essentially if Bob had been on that team still, I'd have had Bob, Ziggy and Nero as my little jumping team going around, which would have been just amazing. But I still had Nero and Ziggy, so I cannot complain at all. And I had many fantastic years with Bob. My last ride actually with Bob, unknowingly obviously, which is quite sad. I was on the hills over there. I'm gonna tilt so you can see the hills, these hills, I don't know if you can see on the top here, where I had my last ride with Bob, and I've got some gorgeous clips that I will put up here as well of me having my last ride with him, and they are beautiful. And yeah, we were bareback and do like no-handers and like galloping through all the hay bales that the farmer had not given us permission to gallop past. And yeah, it was really sad to not be able to ride him anymore. I sat on him once after that, and when we were going to try and bring him back into some work, this was like when the vets had given me permission to do so, but he was never the same. So he is a companion. He goes out with Louie and Ziggy at the moment because he's the only one that doesn't try to kill Ziggy, because Ziggy's decided that he's the biggest prey animal I've ever seen in my life. So Ziggy's scared of the Shetlands, honestly. You'll meet him shortly, but now we're gonna meet Louie. Okay guys, so we are now joined by Louie, who is my new pony, the newest addition to the family. He is a Welsh D, he is 9 years old. He is fantastic, I absolutely adore him. He is the sweetest little thing. A lot of you may be wondering why on earth I went out and bought a pony. I was not looking for a pony whatsoever. So Louie literally came to me through my Facebook Messenger DMs. So his old owners messaged me on Facebook, because I did used to do buying and selling years ago, and they'd seen me with Nero as well, who they know is obviously a Welsh D and sort of a similar variety to Louie. So they'd messaged me and just said, I don't suppose you're looking for a 148, are you? A 148 jumping pony. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not in the market for another horse. They sent some videos through of him anyway, and I watched the videos through and I just thought to myself, I was like, oh, he is really special. And he hadn't done much, had you? You have the cutest face. You do. He hadn't done much at all, and he was just raw talent, and he just had the best attitude and personality. You could see it in the videos that they sent me. I just fell in love with him through the videos. So I had a bit of a think that week. I was thinking of recommending him to a couple of people I knew who were sort of vaguely looking, but they said they'd had quite a few people go to try him, and he's not the easiest ride. He's my typical favourite type of ride. He's very spicy, forward, sharp, like he's, yeah, very much my kind of ride down to a T, but obviously that doesn't suit everyone. I'd had a few viewings and stuff from what they told me that he'd just been too strong, a lot of children going to try him, and like I said, he was just too strong for a child. They couldn't handle him, and I've obviously had a lot more experience with like that type of pony and stuff as well, so he was very much my type of ride. So I will put some videos of me trying him over this, but we literally just went to a local arena hire. I liked that they let me see him load and stuff as well. He loaded onto a trailer when he was there, and obviously then after when I bought him, he loaded straight onto my lorry as well, which is a 3.5 tonner. Are you going to sleep now? He's so cute. Tried him over a few jumps. I liked how they weren't really bothered about the height at all. They were like, do you want it up more? And they just like whack it up a few more holes and stuff. I think I jumped him about 1 meter when we tried him, roughly 1 meter, probably on one of the fences, and you know, like 80s, 90s and the others. He was so cute. He's the cutest thing. Are you? He does have the cutest, most adorable face. But yeah, he was so good to try, and very spicy, very forwards, but like I said, that's exactly my type of ride. So I just knew he had so much potential, and that really is what he is at the moment. He's a lovable, adorable face with tons of scope and potential, and absolutely no idea what to do with it. But that's my job, so I'm hopefully gonna be able to get him going and get him going out to some shows and things. He's gonna take me a little bit longer to work with and to get him ready to go out to shows than I initially thought, just because I want to do things properly with him, because I know he's so talented, but again, he's also kind of like shy and nervy and very sharp, like I said, so he has so much potential, and I know that if I take the time with him and I do things right, he's going to be really, really special. Because things like being shy, sharp, nervous, things like that, they're not necessarily bad qualities. It depends on how you train a horse or pony is what I think. For example, he's going to be show jumping, hopefully. Fingers crossed, eh, Louis? He's going to be show jumping, so if you take that sharp and careful nature and put that into show jumping, if he trusts me and he knows what he's doing, then that's going to play in our favour, because he's going to be able to get like his legs out of the way quicker. He thinks quicker naturally, which is where that sharpness comes from. But like I said, if we train him properly, that will come into our favour rather than being on the bad side of things, if that makes any sense. Also rode in a running martingale when I tried him, but I've noticed since when he does get a little bit nervous, he does this with his legs. He lifts his legs right up against his, like, you know, where his girth is, and around that area, and he's got a nice high leg carriage anyway, and really picks his legs up over the fences. So something in my gut just says, take away the martingale completely and put in the extra work schooling him through it without, because any horse should be able to school without a martingale. They shouldn't need one just to be able to do their job. It's helpful, and don't get me wrong, a lot of my horses have ridden or still ride in running martingales, but for him, I just have this fear that he's gonna go to take off over a jump and put a leg in the running martingale and then fall. And he's that type of pony who's just so nervy and scared and stuff sometimes that I don't think he'd ever recover from that. So I'm just gonna take my time with you. Yes, I am. He's so cute. Mwah. Hello. Are you okay? I love you. But yeah, he is a long-term project. I have no plans to sell him at any point at the moment. He is going to be my fun pony. Aren't you? He's going to be my fun, super project pony. And hopefully once he's produced through a little bit more, we'll be able to go out and have some real fun, won't we? Where are you going? You want to be at this side now? Okay, you be near this side then. Mwah. He's literally the cutest though, guys. Oh, he's licking me. I'm gonna cry. But you guys are gonna get to know him soon, and I'm gonna be doing lots of videos and stuff of Louis and his journey. Do you want to groom? Do you want to groom? Will you groom me if I groom you? Oh, thank you. You're so cute. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing lots of videos of him showing his journey and his progression, so you guys can follow along with me and from all the ups and downs, because I'm sure there will be plenty, won't there, mister?